Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm just making this on the tail end of a video I just did, and just thought I'd just kind of give a shout out and say what's up. And say, what's up? What moves you? What moves anybody? It's one of those questions I'm always asking myself. What really drives us as individuals, and what makes us want to accomplish certain things, and to be what we call good people, you know. What are good people? I guess that's a very subjective question. I mean, people can have many different values depending on which culture they're from, but they can also have many different variations within that culture of, smaller factions, and we form these little groups and tribes, and then we try to form societies, and now we're trying to reconcile all our differences. And, yeah, mustache. There we go. Facial hair, I tell ya, can be annoying. So, I'm going to do my little bullet here. Clear the air. Frequency. It's one of those things that moves me. Music is a phenomenal thing. The days before music must have been interesting because humans would naturally gravitate towards anything that made a sound. They've found bone flutes that I believe are over 100,000 years old, showing that the belief is that it was we have the Homo sapiens, and I love that. We were always told that, who were they? Oh man, why can't I think of the name right now? Anyhow, the that we evolved alongside, a whole variety of different, humanoids, I guess, and that we all have a little bit of the genetic DNA that's related to the, it's really funny when you have a brain fart when you're trying to think of a particular thing that you've said 1,000,000 times. It's probably because I was distracted with the bull. Anyhow, I guess it's, you know what I'm talking about. Our ancestors that died out however long ago. I wouldn't even say that they're our ancestors, but rather an equal lineage that was alongside humans, and that the belief was always that, human Homo sapiens somehow killed off, other humanoids, and that we became the last ones. But anyhow, getting off subject, finding the old bone flutes, it just shows that we've always had kind of an obsession with frequencies, and naturally hearing it from the birds, animals, When I was younger, I remember having conversations with people like, when did people come up with music? And then you lead to realize, obviously, nobody came up with music. Music is nothing more than a mimicking of natural sounds. You're replicating the morning songbirds or the creek. Fascinating stuff. But without it, I don't know where we'd be right now. Without sound, as far as frequency. I've always been fascinated with cymatics. Cymatics is the effect of sound on water. And a few years ago, last year, I did another one. I made a bunch of videos relating to this, and I take a big bucket of water, and I have this special 12-inch dual coil subwoofer that's mounted in an enclosed box, and then I mount a bucket on top of it and drop it down with this frequency program, where I can go anywhere from, no cycles per second all the way up to, like 20,000 hertz or 20 kilohertz. And generally the human range of hearing is between about 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz. Some can hear lower, but generally, or higher, but generally I think I could hear up to like 22,000 last time I checked. But when it comes to the lower frequencies, anything under 20 starts to show up as vibrations. So when you feel a frequency like that's like 5, cycles per second. Hertz. It's a really interesting thing because hertz it was obviously a guy's name. When you talk about cycles per second, you're talking about a construct, the second, which is measured by the decay of a cesium atom. And these, it's really interesting. Time actually changes depending on where you're at and frequency. And anyhow, I don't want to get into that. Somebody asked me if I'd heard of what was it? It was somebody brought it up this morning and asked me if I'd heard of it, and I hadn't heard the term, but I was well aware of what it is. It's what they would call the music of the spheres, or the idea that, you know, everything goes in these, you know, octaves, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we get into the 440 tuning and 432, and all of these are just cycles per second. Trying to decide what's the best tone, whether these natural ancient tones, the solfeggio tones, are something special or not, becomes kind of irrelevant to me. What I do is I just like to hear a frequency and see how I react to it and how it makes me feel. This one right here is an F, I believe. And in the house we have a B and a G. And last night my wife and I were, our oldest son, he's 22, he was here, and we all grabbed one of the bowls and we started going at the same time. And having all three of these going at the same time just sounded so amazing. And we were standing in a triangle. I thought, I'm going to do this again later tonight, but I'm going to set up the camera in the middle, since I have a dual-sided camera with a, you know, directional microphone, if you will, and see how it sounds from there. As a musician, I love frequencies. I love tones. I play bass guitar, and I also love to play drums just for fun, but I play bass and guitar. And all the different notes. I've always wanted to be able to play piano, you know, but understanding how chords go together, you know. Music theory, I don't know, but I know enough about it to know how fascinating music really is, as far as the components of it. And it seems to coincide with so many, you know, octaves. You know, what is an octave? It's hard to express why sounds, once you change the sound to a certain level, resonates with the sound below it. It's because it's twice as many cycles per second, and because it resonates within that sound. It's what you call harmonics. And that's why you hit the 12th fret of a guitar, and it'll be the same note as the guitar note that you're hitting. And you know, what you can do with that, the way that music and sounds affect us. And you're talking about like minors and majors, and how, you know, using A minor in a song can be, you know, it can give you a feeling of kind of depression, or, you know, whereas you just hit a nice open G chord and all of a sudden you're back in happy land. And it's not just the sounds or the notes, but, you know, the emphasis that's put on them. And a lot of that's probably because we expect it, you know, because, oh, this sounds like a sad song, and we can say the lyrics may be sad, but, you know, everyone knows sometimes you're watching a documentary, and it may not even be that moving of a subject they're talking about, but you'll find yourself, well, I can only speak for myself, I'll find myself crying, or, you know, tearing up, and whether it be some issue in the world or with people who are suffering. And then all of a sudden, every time that happens to me, I start paying attention to the music. I'm like, what's playing? And it's always a very soft piano song in a certain key, certain tone, certain speed. And that's what makes music amazing, the ability to invoke emotion. So I'm going to let you all go now. Have a wonderful day. Go listen to some music.